Welcome back to the Blue Door Pub Thunderdome for another bowl with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast, a show about everything and nothing, coming at your ace 5 days a week. Sitting shotgun is going to be Lindsey Young, writer for the Vikings, slash sort of my low-key BFF. MBD, no big deal. Tell a friend, spread the word, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Bullshow.co. Also, all social medias, at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat as well. So we're going to be diving in with Lindsey. Lots of Vikings slash life talk. It's going to be a lot of fun. And speaking of a lot of fun is a certain read that I'm trying to find. So, yeah. Josh Pelto, Remax Prefer, know him, love him. He's listening right now. That's what Josh does. He tunes in. He's a loyal listener of the show, came on board, and he's awesome. Very knowledgeable about the Vikings. Kind of worried he's going to take over Purple for the win. But he is busy right now buying and selling homes in the Twin Cities market. He knows it inside and out like the back of his hand. And that's not hyperbole. That's legit. Even though it's a seller's market right now, he'll get you the best price if you're trying to get into a house. He'll get you the best price if you're selling your house. Plays both sides, just like Isami Fashion. That's a deep pull. Yeah. Josh Pelto, give him a call, 763-213-4617. One more time, 763-213-4617, joshpelto.com. All right, let's get into it with Lindsey Young. Come back into the Blue Door Pub Studios for it's Bull, but also Purple for the win, because I'm going to chop up all the Viking stuff. That'll be good. We got Lindsey Young. Follow her on Twitter at Lindsey MN Sports. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I didn't know, because you're big time now. I thought you might have changed the handle to Lindsey Vikings NFL.
No, I kept the same Twitter handle.
Yep.
But it's good to be back. It's been a really long time since I've been on your podcast.
Well, the last time you were on the show, you were at my house. You got to see Muggsy.
Right.
That's good. We didn't bring Muggsy to the bar because, I'm
kind of bummed about that, though, but
Why?
She's a great kid.
No, she's good. I'm always a little wary about bringing her to restaurants, even though there's nothing to back it up. Like, she's perfectly fine and content and happy.
Just the concept of having a child at a restaurant just makes you nervous because you've seen it go badly.
Yeah. But, hey, wanted to have you on. We haven't talked about your job with the Vikings, so that's all. It's exciting. The draft went down, and we'll just talk about a little life in general. That'll be good.
Sounds good.
So to the 6 people listening who don't know you, why don't you go through your elevator speech? Like, who are you? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, born and raised in Minnesota, so been a Vikings fan my whole life, which really, honestly, as cliche as it sounds, my job right now is for sure my dream job. But yeah, I was born and raised in Anoka. I went to Christian schools actually my whole life.
Yep.
When I graduated, I worked at University of Northwestern in St. Paul full-time.
Oh, sorry. Did they teach evolution at your schools?
They did not.
Oh.
Nope.
We came from the Mongoloids. Oh.
Creation only. But I worked at the University of Northwestern full-time for 5 years after I graduated in 2010, but I just really kept pursuing, as you know, Andy, a job full-time in sports writing. Was doing a lot of different freelance work and blogging for Vikings Territory. I have to give them a shout-out. And everything kind of came together here about a year and a half ago. So I've been with the Vikings since December 2015.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice run. What was the interview process like? Because you had to go through like 5 interviews, didn't you?
Yeah, the interview process was interesting. It was a little bit different because I didn't have to do a phone interview or anything like that since I was local and since I was doing a little bit of freelance work for them beforehand. So I was familiar with a couple of the people that I was working with, Mike Wabasha and Craig Peters. I already knew them.
Wabby.
Yep. But the interview process, I came in and I did an interview with, I'm trying to think how many different people. I want to say like 7 people, but it wasn't all at once. It wasn't like a panel interview. I interviewed with either one or a group of 2 people, kind of one after the other, for an entire morning. So it was intense.
Yep.
It was good. It was a really good experience, but it was definitely intense. I was tired after that. And so people have asked, like, would you rather do a panel interview and have a whole group of people or, like, do one after the other? I'm like, gosh, I don't know after that. I think there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah, I don't had think about this. I haven't had a job interview since I was 20. Yeah.
Really?
I had a job working at college, yeah. So, yeah, like, even I'm pretty personable, like in a small group setting. But even if you're in front of a panel of 12 people, that'd be a little much.
Right.
So, what do you say your biggest strength is? Talking in front of large groups.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I am definitely better in a one-on-one setting, so I think that was probably a positive thing for me.
So you didn't get an interview with the Wilfs? They didn't come down like,
I did
Lindsey,
not.
This hire, we needed to get this right.
I did not.
Oh.
Nope.
Have you met the Wilfs?
Yes, I have. The only reason I'm hesitating is because there hasn't been like a formal introduction, but I have met them. I've probably been around Mark Wilf more often, just based on the events he's involved with and things like that. But
they're like, yeah, that's Lindsey. She's the one who wrote the expose about the leaky panels. Fire her. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really done, even when I came on, I really didn't do much stadium stuff. I do a lot of community stories, and then, of course, a lot of the on-field stuff as well. But if there's off-field stuff, I tend to gravitate more towards the community events.
What's been your favorite event that you've covered so far?
Oh, that's a really good question. And like an off-field event?
Off the field, like away from the game event. What was that one where you got to meet Alan Page and then with his like random finger?
I've met Alan Page at a couple different. So he was at the playground build last year, which is always fun. That happens every summer. The team comes together to build the playground, but then also all the Vikings staff is involved as well. So it's huge. That's really fun. Yep. I also met him at like a panel that he was doing for law school students. So that was interesting as well. But favorite events.
Wait, what does a D tackle know about the law?
Alan Page is so smart. Like I know you're joking, but I'm not even going to try to have a witty response because he is so fun to talk to because he has just had so many different experiences. It's crazy. Yeah,
I also have an Alan Page story. He came down and talked to my business fraternity down at Winona State, and really cool guy. Got to shake his hand, got to see got to touch the messed up finger. I feel like all football players have one finger that's at least at a 45 degree, you know?
It does seem like there's a lot of them.
And I remember, because I kind of made an ass out of myself in front of him, shocker. I wore a yellowish shirt with a green tie, and it didn't even dawn on me. It was like, oh. So I made a joke by him. I was like, oh, sorry about wearing Packers colors. He was like, ha.
He didn't really get into the joke.
No, you get it. Yeah. Sorry, Bears legend Alan Page didn't even get my Packers joke.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite alumni to interact with. Really, really smart. Jim Marshall's a great guy, too, that I've been able to interact with a few times. And just recently, this past year, I did some stuff for Black History Month with Gene Washington. And that was the first time I'd ever met him. And he has some great stories, too, and just stuff to talk about.
Also, you have a kinship with Matt Blair.
Yeah.
Because you're both into the photographers.
Yeah, it's true. Like, it's interesting because I met Matt, probably in like 2012, quite a while before I was working with the Vikings. I met him at an art fair because he was doing photography, and I also love photography. And so we chatted about that. And just about the Vikings and kind of that connection. And I did a couple of stories on him, and we've stayed in contact. So that was kind of cool to have that, relationship, I guess, before even working with the team.
And I feel like most of the players that they always have really cool interests off of the field where, a lot of them were just born 6'4", 260, can run a 4.40, you know?
Right.
But a lot of them, we've seen it with Matt Khalil. We've seen it with lots of players that have interest. Like if Brian Robinson was 5'11", $180, he'd be like a TV fishing instructor somewhere because he's that charismatic and that passionate about the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of their like second lives, if you will.
Yeah, like there's Everson was my fault. The guy just loves football. Like he would still be playing if they were getting paid $10 on a ham sandwich a game.
I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, but yeah, if you scratch a little past the surface on a lot of these guys, a lot of them have very interesting pursuits.
And that's one of the things that I really like about my job, but what really caused me to want to get into sports journalism, like even when I was a student at Northwestern and working for the school paper, I would do kind of these weekly columns on one of the athletes on, the basketball team, volleyball team, or whatever, and dig into their personal lives a little bit more. I really have a passion for telling people stories and showing people, here's the person behind the jersey. As much as I love football, I want to show them the human side of it as well.
And what's been your favorite human side story that you've done so far? It could be a player, it could be a fan, it could be whatever. Because you're amazing on those pieces.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Because it's been so recent, I know I already talked about it, but I love doing the Black History Month story with Gene Washington. Mm-hmm. And I guess that was kind of human and football because his story has a lot to do with football and helping integrate schools and things like that. But kind of just hearing his heart on that issue was really, really cool for me. So that was probably my favorite recent one.
Yep.
And then last year for the yearbook, I wrote a story called Island Influences that really touched on the different players on the rosters that have roots like in the Caribbean and the islands. And so that was really interesting to learn more about those players' childhoods.
Like Caribbean or like Asian?
Caribbean.
Oh.
Yep. So like Linval and Daniil and Emmanuel, those guys.
Yeah, because
Haiti, Caribbean, Jamaica.
Yeah, I couldn't quite place it because there's lots of Polynesians, lots of Samoans in the NFL. So I was thinking Asiana, and then who else? But I guess no one else.
Right.
Yeah, and not Asiata anymore.
Right.
Yeah. A random aside, we're recording here at the lovely Blue Door Como, and school is close to winding down, and there's lots of college students here. I always wonder, I wonder if they see me as the old guy yet.
I don't think you look old.
Well, yeah. I'm not going to spend too much time on the whole Asian aging theory, but bottom line, from age 13 to 66, Asian men look exactly the same. Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But I can't really talk because people, I mean, not that long ago, I got carded to buy a rated R movie at Best Buy, so.
Wait. No, the funniest part about that line is that you were buying a movie at Best Buy.
Well, where do you buy movies?
Don't, or Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the thing that we do now is like I can't even remember the last time I bought like a physical DVD or a Blu-ray.
Okay.
Everything is just click. Oh, add to Amazon library.
Oh, sure. I could see that.
Everything's streaming nowadays.
Yeah, true.
Oh, actually, the last DVD I bought was the A-Team.
Really?
Liam Neeson, Bradley Cooper.
Oh, yeah, I have it.
Rampage Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah. Charlita Copley. That had to been like 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't buy CDs anymore, but I totally buy DVDs and Blu-ray.
Something I would buy a Blu-ray of is if there was one of your interview with Buck Grant. Smooth segue. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. On K-Fan, the whole thing.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that was really fun. I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day because we were talking about players that, depending on what era of Vikings football you grew up in, those players are more famous too, right? Like, did you grow up in the Alan Page era? Did you grow up in the Randy Moss era? But don't you feel like Bud Grant is just timeless? Right?
Yeah.
Like, he coached before I was born, and yet I grew up knowing how important he was to Vikings football. And it's still kind of surreal to me sometimes that I've been able to interact with him as much as I have.
Still sharp as a tack.
He is, yeah. He definitely is. Not that long ago, I was talking to him, and he had mentioned something about if I had heard from this fan that was supposed to call, and I was like, I haven't. Is there a reason that he was supposed to call me? And Bud kind of made a crack about, well, I just assumed that if they called here that they would get a hold of you first because you're at the bottom of the totem pole. And I kind of laughed, and I was like, well, I'm not an intern, so I'm not, quite at the bottom of the totem pole. And he just looked at me, and he's like, all right, you got a little breathing room. And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, how many people can say that they've been insulted by Bud Grant, really? Yeah. No, he's great.
No, that's good. He's of an age you probably thought you were in the typing pool. I guess you are doing the content on the site.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
But Bud Grant's story, just spanning from being college associates and best friends with Sid Hartman,
right,
who was part owner of the Lakers. I did not know that. Playing for the Lakers, playing the NFL, going to the CFL because they paid more money.
I know.
Wow.
It was just like such. He has a really different mindset, I think, anyways, but playing football or any professional sport was just so different at that time because most of them had second jobs. So it really was a matter of which league paid more and what would be more profitable. So him and Sid, they just have so many life experiences and stories.
If you could lock it up right now, be doing whatever you want to do that you love when you're their age. Sid's 94?
Yeah.
Something like that. What would it be?
Honestly, I do not want to work that long.
Yeah.
But everybody.
But your great-great-grandchildren would be like, Gam Lindsey. Let's go hang out.
Gam.
Hold on. Get out of here. I'm on deadline.
But that's exactly it. I want to be hanging out with my grandkids and stuff when I'm that age. No, I don't want to work that long. But everybody always asks me, what's your end goal or what do you do next? And sometimes the question bugs me just because I really love where I'm at. And so I'm like, why do I have to be a millennial? Why can't I just stay here and be happy with it? But, I've always thought it would be really amazing to one day work for Sports Illustrated and write those, really long, in-depth features and things like that. So
you have to hurry up before they get out of business too.
Yeah. No, they're not going to. They're. I'm a huge Sports Illustrated defender.
Yeah, I always wonder sometimes, I'm never going to work for anyone because I like to throw shade all over the place. But I feel like if I throw shade at everyone, then I throw shade at no one.
I suppose.
Yeah. So there you go.
No, I've always liked Sports Illustrated and their content. That's kind of what got me interested in wanting to write, in sports in the first place.
Yeah. And I do enjoy what you're talking about, the long form, the human interest piece. The whole clickbait is someone wrote a tweet, so we have to do a post about this, and then a site aggregates that, and another site aggregates that. That part of media and sports media annoys the out of me, and I think people are starting to wake up to it. That it's this is garbage, and are starting to navigate back towards quality journalism and quality storytelling again. Which is good. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I do think that there are definitely trends, and there's kind of a time and a place for the different types of posts and different types of content, but I've always loved the really in-depth stories that, you have to spend some time with versus being super fast.
Yeah. And I understand and respect where the people who work at the aggregator sites are coming from. It's we have to hit this number so we get continue to get paid, continue to get this working relationship. But it's you will never believe what happened in this Latvian handball game. Right. Number 7 will shock you. It's people are smart enough not to click that anymore. Yeah. It's not like the early days of the internet when I remember. My grandpa first got on the internet, and one of those pop-up ads came up. It's
oh yeah,
do you want to win $1 million? He's like, yes, I do.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we're out of that sphere now.
Did your grandpa really do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was amazed. He also thought that this is a fly-by-night thing. It was the stupid computer is not going to be worth anything.
Oh yeah. I used to always be okay, I know that this is spam, and I'm not going to click on it. But what if it was real and I'm missing out? Because I'm so gullible.
Yeah. Well, do you remember going through your email and reading every single email? It's wow, this is amazing.
Oh, for sure.
But now just deleting 30%.
Yeah, because there was this novelty thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember even dial-up. I remember getting done with soccer practice at school, trying to call home for a ride, couldn't get through. calling my friend Sarah and being like, hey, can you go on AIM and message my mom and tell her I need a ride? I mean, like, the things we had to do. No cell phones, dial up.
I'm actually kind of glad I wasn't in college / was single when, like, all these dating apps came out. Because I feel like that'd be too easy. That'd be way too easy to be, like, a little bit of hedonism is fine. I actually think it's good for the soul, but too much is bad.
There are a lot of dating apps out there.
Yeah.
Like every kind you could think of.
Well, we can wade into your experience all of it. So what's your, if you had to tell one story, good, bad, or otherwise, what's your favorite online dating story?
I met a guy through an online dating app that seemed really great, had a good job. We had good things to talk about back and forth, chatted for...
There's always a catch, because if they're that perfect, there's a reason why they're not with anyone.
Yeah, I was wondering that. Well, but I'm that perfect,
No.
and I'm not with anyone.
Well, you're up there, though.
No, but so we chatted. That was at a point I was doing some freelance work and things, and I was talking about how I really loved basketball, and he was like, oh my gosh, I love the Timberwolves, they're so great. So anyway, long story short, we went out to dinner for our first date. Wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It was kind of awkward, and I was like, you know what, I can't write somebody off after the first date. Like, everybody's going to be kind of awkward.
What was the place? What was the restaurant?
I can't remember what it was called. It was a Greek restaurant that he suggested. Really good food.
Yeah.
But then, so he suggests going to a Timberwolves game for the next date because he loves the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
So we go to the Timberwolves game, and this was probably like a year before Kevin Love left to go to Cleveland. And we're sitting there, and we're watching the warm-ups, and he, like, leans over, and he was like, who's this big white joker? And he had no idea who Kevin Love was. And I all of a sudden realized that he had completely made up, like, even liking the Timberwolves.
Oh, see, I thought he might have been talking about Pekovic.
No. Well, no. That was when Pekovic was playing a lot more, too.
Yeah.
But, so that was an interesting one where I realized that he just kind of made it up. And
was this made up to try and impress you? Because did you lead with that as, like, I like the Wolves? Like, I like the Wolves, too.
I can't remember if he kind of initiated based on things on my profile or if I did. So I can't remember that. I think it probably was to impress me.
Yeah.
But then he kind of just tried to play dumb. I asked him, I thought you were a big Timberwolves fan, and he was like, oh, yeah. I mean, they're my favorite team. I was like, yeah, but Kevin Love, like, he's a big deal and whatever. And he's like, well, I mean, I guess I stopped watching them like maybe 4 years before KG left.
I stopped watching them after Tony Campbell. I was done with this team.
I was like, what? So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't had any like horror stories or anything like that.
Well, one of the reasons why I keep telling the wife that I hope that my daughter is a lesbian is that men are the worst, because I can tell, like, if I was still single, I would be reverse engineering everything. And going through the profile, going through like the social media profiles, like finding out likes, interests, studying up on those interests. It's like, oh, the Real Housewives of Chattanooga. That was amazing. Can you believe that Doris smashed that glass of moonshine over Marianne's head? Yeah, it's crazy. And then all to just get in the end zone on 2nd and 10, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, and men are terrible.
Because men are terrible. That's the way I think. Even as a happily married man, I'm still thinking that that's how the game would be played.
Okay, so did you... I have to ask.
Yeah.
Were there things that you pretended to like when you were first dating Crystal?
No.
Or did that just happen more organically?
No, like, that's one of the great things about the wife and why I knew it was, like, ready to go, because just being yourself. Like, there's something so freeing about being yourself, and also you kind of have to long term, because how long are you going to keep up a charade? Like, if you guys were still together, it's like he'd be like, so what do you think Levine's long-term prospect, Levine's long-term prospects here?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, you're just going to be lying and BSing yourself, and it's going to be uncomfortable.
And that's what's kind of hard about the whole online dating thing, because you're getting together and having dinner with somebody that you've never met, you don't know anything about, and you're trying to be yourself, but how natural can you really be in that context?
Well, dating it's like sales, and if you're a carnival barker who is going to be moving on to the next town with all the carnies the next night, you can do and say whatever you want to try and get that $20 out of that jabroni's pocket to try and impress his date to win the stupid bear that's been in your trunk for 3 years, ever since Peoria.
I don't know where you come up with this stuff, but it works.
Yeah, but marriage or like long-term relationships, that's like trying to build up a long-term sales relationship. You're not going to try and pull one over. You're always going to try and give 51% to their bringing 49%, have a good cordial relationship, and it's not going to be BS. You're going to be honest, you're going to be real there.
Andy Carlson marriage advice. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen.
That'll probably be the next show.
Yeah.
It'll be on Zubabaza or whatever the next social media app is.
Perfect.
Yeah. Besides Twitter, what social media apps do you use?
I am on Facebook a lot, but more from like a personal standpoint.
Yeah.
Staying connected with friends that live out of state and things like that. I have a lot of friends with kids, and I know that some people think that there's an overkill of parents posting kid pictures and stuff like that, but I like it. I like to stay in touch with my friends and see how their families are doing, so I do use Facebook a lot. I like Instagram as well, since I do like taking photos, whether it's just photos of me and my friends on my phone, or actually when I do some photography on the side. So Instagram is fun.
Lindsey took our 1-year-old Muggsy pictures. They're amazing.
I did. It was so fun. Yeah. It's something that I rarely do anymore, just because my job is so busy and I love it. Yeah. But I do like to do it every once in a while. So Eric Thompson taking his family photos here in a couple weeks.
What kind of camera do you have?
It is a Canon. Look at me like hesitating because I just...
It's a black one.
No, because I just got a different one. It's the Canon 5D.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds impressive. I have no idea what cameras are.
I got it used from a friend who does photography and switched over to Sony. So I was able to kind of get his equipment for a lower price, which is nice.
What are you going to do with your old one?
That's a good question. I'm just hanging on to it right now because it kind of feels like a good idea to just have a backup.
Yeah.
And my old one was really... it was a really old model, so I don't think I'd make much money off of it or anything like that. So it's just hanging out at the apartment.
We may have to talk later.
Sounds good.
Because the wife's been mugging me about getting a camera, except I've been pricing them as like, I don't know, man. Like, I have no idea what's good.
Yeah.
I should probably find it. Oh, that's, go back to Facebook. That's also what annoys me when people get on there like, does anyone know of any tree removal places in
asking for
the Northeast Metro? Google it. Yeah. Or like, I'm in the market for DSLR cameras. Like, I go on there like, any recommendations on the DSLR camera? What most people do, I don't know if it's consciously or subconsciously, it'll be a humble brag. It'll be like, does anyone know the name of a good pool/hot tub installer in the western suburbs?
I could see that.
We get a gym. You get a pool. Cool.
But maybe, here's me always trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they trust their personal friends' recommendations versus the internet.
No.
Although I always try to read reviews and stuff. I trust people on the internet.
You trust people on the internet more than your friends?
No, but if somebody has a bad review on something, like, they're going to be clear about it. Yeah. Ooh, our food is coming. I'm getting excited. And
also clear is us taking a break. Come on down to the Blue Door Pub. All 3 locations, St. Paul, University on Como, and Longfellow. Lindsey, what'd you get?
I got the Thai chicken wraps. I got these last time for the first time. They were amazing, so I'm hitting them up again.
And I got the Horse Kick Blue Sea with the breakfast setup. Highly recommended.
Amazing.
Get your butt down here. All right, we're right back with more Lindsey Young here at the Blue Door Pub. Andy Carlson here, Purple for the Win podcast, letting you know that we'll be here all off-season long talking the Vikings angle on everything. Combine, pro days, free agency, the draft, OTAs, training camp in 2017. Baby. Get the show on 1500 ESPN, Podcast One, and the Podcast One app. And come back into the Blue Door Pub Thunderdome. Get on down here, the tachos de bleu, how do you say that? The tachos cordon bleu There we go. The honey mustard tots, crispy chicken, ham, Swiss Mornay sauce. That's one of the mother sauces if you're into cooking just like me.
Sounds amazing.
Blue cheese crumbles, scallions, the whole thing. It is delicious. Stop on down. Blue Door Pub, University on Como, the OG St. Paul, formerly La Puerta de Azul, and also Longfellow. If you're in that cool little hip neighborhood like our boys Ramball and Matt Bell, it's good times as well. And hit up bluedoorpub.com, or excuse me, thebdp.com. You think I get the website?
You would think,
ready
but
by now.
It's fine. We got it.
Actually, I want to see what the Blue Door Pub.com is. I'm really hoping it's not porn. Come on, one time. Oh, doesn't exist. Cool. Even better. So Lindsey Young, we're back talking a little Vikings, talking a little life. How was the lettuce wraps?
They were so good. Second time, seriously, guys. I recommend them for sure. I'm kind of doing a low-carb thing, so it's a really good option that's not bland.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Also, I had the horse kick blue sea. It was pretty amazing. I feel like a little kick. It's right up your alley. Do that up. And also the au jus does it as well. I'm also on a low-carb thing. Because, but I always feel weird about asking for a burger with no bun, because then even the waitress, even if she's cool as, she'll look at you like, oh, really? Oh, yeah, I guess I'm really not much of a man. But I feel kind of bad because I'm costing the company a bun now.
I totally agree. You have to choose between looking weird, ordering it without a bun, or wasting their bun.
Yeah, I'll just waste a bun. That's how I roll. But Lindsey, come back in. You're traveling with the team this weekend. You got a big event coming up.
Yeah, B-Rob's fishing tournament in Wabasha, Minnesota, which is, where Grumpy Old Men was filmed.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. I have never been to Wabasha, though, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. Going to be down there Friday night and during the day Saturday. Will not be there Sunday.
Yeah.
But Vikings fans should definitely come down and check it out. I think it's going to be really cool. He's done these in Texas. And
Now, is it a fishing tournament?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so fans can come in, they get registered, they can go and get angling.
Yeah, so there's like an open tournament on Sunday. I am very unfamiliar with how fishing tournaments work. But I do know that on Friday night, you can come down and bid on getting to fish in one of the boats with one of the professional fishermen and potentially a Vikings player.
Yep.
And then that money will go towards good cause.
If you had to pick one Vikings player to go fishing with, besides B-Rob, because that's obvious, we'll take David Morgan out too, because he's a big fisherman. Who would you fish with? Like, who would you want on your boat?
Who do you think would be good at fishing?
Nah, just he's the most fun, because fishing is all about fun. Like, even fishing tournaments, I know you're trying to win, but how serious can fishing really be?
This might be a cheating answer because he's not currently on the roster, but I hear he is going to be there this weekend, John Randall. I mean, how fun would fishing with John Randall be? He seems like a fun guy.
Yeah, he seems like he would be intense, especially if he caught a whopper.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he'd be really serious about it, but I don't know. He's a fun guy, so I guess that'd be my pick.
Oh, except John Randall, I'd love to go deep-sea fishing with him, catching marlins and stuff. Have him catch a 6-foot marlin, and then he'd be like, 6-footer for life. That'd be good.
Have you ever been fishing on the ocean?
No. We live in the land of 10,000 lakes, and plenty of relatives had boats, and my grandpa loved fishing. Just never really caught me, I do enjoy getting
catch you. Didn't hook you, if you will.
Didn't fillet me. Yeah, didn't whack me over the head with an oar. I don't know. Like, I love eating fish. I'm really good at filleting fish, in my time in restaurants. But I don't know. Like,
do you get bored?
That's not even that. Like, I enjoy being out, enjoy the sun, enjoy having a beverage or two. But it's like if we're out on the boat and it's like, we only have X number of poles. Like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. But so fishing, that's very exciting. Have you ever? What about you in fishing? Ever caught a fish?
Yeah, but I haven't. My sister and I used to love going fishing with my dad when we were growing up. So we would if we went as a whole family, we would take a boat out on the lake. But growing up, a lot of times we would just fish off dock or offshore and catch sunfish and stuff like that. So I have really good memories growing up and doing that with my parents. But I honestly can't even tell you the last time that I have gone fishing, so I'm not about to judge your lack of excitement for it.
But you haven't seen the Take Me Fishing commercials where it's really pulling on the heartstrings, like, take me fishing so I can remember time with my grandchild.
No.
Man, if we were at the home setup now, I would YouTube the crap out of that commercial and make it cry.
I probably would cry. I cry really easily.
Oh, we talked off air, but you want to go see Guardians 2. You're going to cry at parts.
Dang it, I probably will. I do really want to see Guardians 2. Yeah. I do skip the first scene of the first movie every time. Just like I skip the first scene of Finding Nemo every time. It gets you.
Where the
when
mom
his
dies
mom
of cancer.
dies, yeah.
Oh, there's going to... Spoiler, but... I say spoilers, but we did a full episode completely spoiling the movie on Friday. But, yeah, there's a scene in the second one where you're going to be like...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Dead.
Well,
yeah.
I will be prepared, and I'll tweet about it afterwards and tag you in it.
Oh, man. The wife and I, they just added Grumpy Old Men to HBO, so we watched the original and the second one. And the scene where... I'm sorry, choking me up. The scene where Burgess Meredith and Jack Lemmon are sitting on the couch, and then... Burgess Meredith is kind of wistful, is like, maybe God forgot about me. And then later in the movie, he's dead. It's like, God remembered you, Pop. And then it's like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
So what?
All the feels.
I'm going off topic here. Well, not really. Just going on a tangent. What is the saddest movie that you've ever seen? Or one of?
Saddest movie ever seen? Well, I guess you can't go wrong saying like Schindler's List.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's made to be... Manchester by the Sea is also super depressing.
Did you like it? Because I've heard really good things about it, but then I've also heard people say they don't understand, like, really the point of it, and it was sad.
It was made... Because people love torture, for lack of a better term, like torture porn TV. And, like, that's why people like Game of Thrones when their favorite character gets killed off and shows of that nature. Like, Manchester by the Sea, Casey Affleck deserved... getting a Best Actor. I thought he was amazing in that movie. Michelle Williams is also really good too. But the plot is sort of thin, and it's really just a movie built around the extremely sad event that happens in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I will say, oddly enough, like the saddest parts for me is Toy Story 3 at the end.
Oh, that's yeah.
Well, no spoiler because it's been 10 years, but when they're about to be burned and they're like, all right, let's do this. And also the beginning of Up.
That one, that one really gets you.
Yeah. Right in them. Yeah. All right. Let's bring it back to something happier. So
sounds good.
Spring's eternal. New rookies in the building.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I love NFL draft time.
Yeah.
There's just tons of energy. I mean, before I even worked for the team, I just like that time of year because it feels like football is starting to come back. Everybody's kind of starting out with a blank slate, bringing in new names. This year was crazy. I mean, 11 picks. That was insane. We just work from Winter Park, so we are in the field house, watch the draft, press conference calls, things like that. But obviously no pick in the first round draft, so that night wasn't a whole lot of action. We did write a couple things about NFC North and what have you, and then... I was really excited about our first two picks.
Yep. Dalvin Cook.
Not only those two, but moving into the second day, that was really fun. Lots of excitement around them, and then just all the trading. All the trading was crazy. Yeah,
and from the human interest point, I mean, all of them have a really awesome story of when you got the call from Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer. It's like, are you ready to be a Minnesota Viking? And speaking, damn it, going back to all the feels. Like, I love when they stay at home, even if they're going to be a first-round pick, and they're at home, they're on the couch with their mom, their dad, their grandma, all the friends and stuff, and then everyone just go nuts.
I like that, too. So we were actually talking about that at the draft this year because I said my first instinct, was to say, if you're going to go in the first round and you could go out there and, have all that hoopla, why wouldn't you want to? It's crazy, spotlight, exciting. But then you're totally right. I see the videos of them with their family and friends and getting that call, and it just seems like so much more special.
And, I'm a purist. I loved when it was that Radio City Music Hall because New York, Manhattan has a little bit more oomph. And I do think it's cool what the NFL is doing now, taking it to other cities to turn it into more of a festival. It's almost like Bonnaroo out there. And, yeah, I get that the Vikings are bidding in 2022 and 2023, so it's kind of neat. But I do sort of miss the mystique.
Yeah, I can see that. From everything that I heard, and I'm sure you heard the same thing, that, Philadelphia did a really good job with it. I think you have to have a plan and execute it well, you know. But I think that it went really well. They lucked out with the weather. I mean, I can't imagine having something like that outside and then just having like a thunderstorm or something. Yeah. So they lucked out. And
it's funny. Philadelphia fans definitely lived up to their reputation. Although there weren't any arrests, which I thought was amazing. Because you got football fans, you got people passionate, you got all 32 teams represented.
Right.
You got boos. You got Drew Pearson riling up the crowd. 0 arrests. Pretty amazing. But I love that they booed everything. Like even when Goodell was like, thank you very much to the city of Philadelphia. Let's hear it for you guys. And they still booed him. That's commitment.
It was a really interesting atmosphere. And it is interesting about having fans from so many different teams. I just interviewed one of our season ticket members that the Vikings sent to the draft, and each of the 32 teams does that, right? They send 2 season ticket members, or cool. A season ticket member and family member or whatever. And he was saying that, like, that was one of his favorite parts of getting to go there, was kind of like bonding with these fans from other teams. Because at that point at the draft, you're not playing each other. There's nothing really on the line. You're all talking about who you want and everything like that. And he said that, it was kind of a cool way to just bond with football fans.
Yeah, that sounds surprising. I wonder what the most random jersey out there was. Because I was like to keep track of random things like that.
Yeah. What's the most random jersey that you own? Or do you own jerseys?
I'm not a big jersey person anymore because I'm a man above age 25. Like I always slide that shade in. Man, the most random Vikings one I've seen is someone had a authentic, like, stitched on lettering, like high end Underwood jersey.
Interesting.
Yeah, Demetrius Underwood.
Wow.
Never played it down for the Vikings, but still gonna go down to infamy.
But then you have to do you think it was a custom-made one?
Oh, I mean, probably, right?
Right.
Yeah. Or maybe he's just a really big House of Cards fan.
Maybe.
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
Speaking of some of the other teams you're into, the new Wolves logo.
Yeah. Curious what your thoughts are on it. I love it.
Yeah.
I really like...
But you like everything.
No, I don't like everything, but I do like to give everything the benefit of the doubt. But no, I'm genuinely excited about it. I'm excited for the new gear to come out. I love lime green, so I just like that it has a little bit of that in it. I also like how I feel like it goes back to kind of the old school logo with still a really like fresh feel. And I liked the video that they did, but I need to know your thoughts.
The video was very cool. Also, I did not know that Atmosphere was 2 guys. I thought Atmosphere was 1 guy, but now we know. What's the other one's name? Slug?
Slug, yeah.
I mean, that's
but
cool.
I'm not really familiar with any of those guys other than hearing them by name.
Whoever the production team did that, whether it's in-house or they outsourced it, they definitely deserve some dap because that was awesome.
Yeah.
And the logo... If they would have just gone completely old school, like at the old logo with some, with some accent stuff, like that would have been awesome. That would have been 10 out of 10 boss.
Okay.
The new one, I mean, it's all right. I think it's funny that it's basically the Canis Hoopus logo. Yeah, the fan blog on SB Nation. Yeah. No, it's like it's pretty close. Or a lot of people have been going with the Phoenix Coyotes.
Yeah, I did see that one. I feel like there's a lot of logos that are really close, or there's bits and pieces from different things, so that bothered me so much, but I love the old school logo so much, so I'd agree with you that I would have been super pumped if it was like that.
And this is purely a generational thing, because when I was really into the Wolves, it was KG, it was Marbury, it was Anthony Peeler.
Tom Gugliotta. Anthony Peeler.
Yeah. Anthony Peeler, Latrell Sprewell, like that whole era.
Right.
And I really like the trees, the tree outline on the jerseys.
Right.
But a lot of people did not.
I liked the trees too. This last one that they had was probably my least favorite, to be honest, the most recent one.
And yeah, I get why teams rebrand. You're selling new merch and stuff.
Right.
But, yeah. Or like going back to the old school jerseys. Oh.
Do you think they're going to have like lime green alternate jerseys?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about the NBA, though, is that they embrace the alternate jerseys. Like the NFL, not so much. Like, sure, they go in the color rush, but it's like that's not.
The NBA has so many games.
Yeah.
So they have more opportunity to switch it up.
But like when because it's just more opportunities to get more merchandise out there because
For sure.
lots of people like when they went with the sleeve jerseys, like that's just a cash grab. Like all the players hate the sleeves.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the sleeve jerseys because for girls, right? Like you're not going to wear the jersey with the like sleeveless classic jersey. You're not going to wear that without a shirt underneath.
Yep.
You wear a shirt underneath, it looks goofy.
Yeah.
So I like the ones with the sleeves.
Hey, you look like Keith Van Horn.
Yeah.
I forgot who brought up this idea, but it's an amazing one for the NFL Thursday night games. Instead of color rush, which it's kind of neat on one level, but garbage on like 9 other levels.
Okay.
Throwback Thursdays. Like both teams just wear their throwback uniforms. I mean, how easy and awesome is that?
That would be cool.
Yeah. And you
some
already
teams would barely change it. See, that's what I find interesting is some teams that have barely changed it all, like Chicago.
Yeah.
And then you have like the Steelers that just have the
they go back to the
like
bumblebee.
The bumblebee. Yeah.
Man, who's your favorite throwback NFL uniform?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I like ours, but that's the cop-out answer.
Yeah.
Maybe like I kind of like the Patriots' old uniform, to be honest. Like I liked their old logo.
Yeah.
How about you?
The Patriots is definitely up there. Although I can see where they got away from it because Patriots Pat and that red, like so much losing was around that. Yeah, so I see where they got away from it. Also, but the Bucks creamsicles.
Yeah.
Classic. Or the Chargers powder blue. Always like those. And frankly, the Seahawks old uniforms, with the silver helmet,
really?
the blue and green.
Yeah.
I don't really care for the new age look.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably because they're annoying and I hate them.
So you just don't like the Seahawks, so you don't like their
No,
uniforms.
it's more the fan. Like, I never beef with teams and actual players. It's always, I determined after much self-reflection, it's fan bases that I can't stand. Because, like, the Packers as a team, respect the organization. I think they're a very talented group, but it's the fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fair.
And the Seahawks 12s. And the Panthers bandwagon that was very brief. Very, very brief.
My sister went on a business trip to Seattle probably a year and a half ago now. Oh, more than that. But anyway, she went on a business trip to Seattle. She's not a football fan really at all. Supports the Vikings because she knows that I like them and my dad likes them. But she's sending me a text going, I don't know who wears number 12, but Seattle loves him. So I got a good laugh out of that.
That's pretty good. Man, I wonder if... I wonder if the Patriots, the Seahawks would, unofficially unretire the number 12. Like, say,
I don't know.
Somehow, like Russell Wilson, like quits and decides to be Ciara's husband full time, and then Tom Brady, twilight of his career, gets traded to the Seattle Seahawks. Will they let him wear 12?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I wish it would happen. I can pull some strings. I got some weight.
All right.
Speaking of pulling strings, coming up this summer, anything fun you got planned?
That was a terrible segue.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. If you point it out, it doesn't have to make sense.
This summer...
Maybe you're going to a marionette concert. I don't know.
Nothing huge. Like, I'm not doing any huge traveling or anything like that.
Yep.
But I really look forward to, like, the different festivals and stuff that go on downtown. Like, I love Grand Old Days.
Yep.
Love it. That's coming up on June 4th, so I'm glad that I can go to that. I like the Uptown Art Festival and some of, like, the smaller art festivals that go on. That's stuff that my family likes to do, too. So we'll, hang out on a Sunday afternoon and check that out. So I'm a big fan of, like, staycation type of stuff.
Yeah.
So don't do a lot of traveling, but just look forward to those little things.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about Facebook in the first half, and A lot of people, actually it's been like clinically diagnosed that if you spend too much time on Facebook, since that's everyone's highlight reel, that's not everyone's real life. They're not putting their tax audit on Facebook, right? Unless it's FML audited again. A lot of people get bummed out. It's like, oh, all my friends are going on vacation, getting new cars, and all that other stuff. Or it's like, I used to get bummed out when seeing everyone on vacation. Then I remembered, oh yeah, I hate vacation.
So what is it about? Do you not like to plan it? Do you not like to travel?
Well, I'm fine with it. I enjoy spending time with the loved ones and friends, whatever. I don't mind air travel, actually. I think it's rather calming on me. But I don't know. It's more the idleness of it.
Okay.
Like I need to be in the like 6 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah. Like 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day. Like I just need to.
Yeah.
Like I can't unplug. Like honestly, my definition of hell would be sitting on the beach for 7 days.
I would not like that either.
Yeah.
My roommate is all about tropical vacations, just cocktail and the beach and nothing else. I would go absolutely stir crazy. I could maybe do 1 day of that just to kind of like recharge. Yeah. But then, if I go on vacation, like I went to Boston a few years ago, like I want to go on tours. I want to do the touristy type stuff. I want to do as much activity as I can.
Yeah, and I feel like I could do a beach vacation, spend half a day on the beach, but there better be like a high-end client like down there that I'm going to pitch and close.
Right, an end goal.
Yeah, Atlantis Resorts bring you the Pro Fluent Parker, which would be amazing.
I've never even been to like a resort or like all-inclusive cruise, anything like that. I've never really done any of those, just like straight pamper yourself vacations.
Oh, treat yourself.
Yeah. I couldn't see myself though. I think I would get bored.
Yeah. Pretty powerful, of course. Are you going to London?
I don't know yet.
Ooh.
I am not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure what the travel
Get
team
all
for
the
staff will look
Dramamine
like.
Out. Yeah, because it's week 8 versus the Browns.
Yeah. So if I do go, like I said, not sure what the travel situation will be like or if it will be an option or not. But if I ever traveled overseas, I would need so much Dramamine.
Or it'd be like, can I take the train over?
Right. Yeah. Maybe I could just jump on a boat.
Yeah, that would take a while.
Yeah.
Like we've improved on Titanic speed, but it would still take a while.
All right.
Yeah. And are you for sure traveling to any road games?
Nothing in concrete yet, but I probably will end up going to 1 or 2 this year. I just don't know which ones.
Because you went to Philly last year or Chicago?
No, I just went to Chicago last year, which was actually fun. I like Chicago. Yeah. It was kind of fun to see a game in Soldier Field. Obviously, that game did not go the Vikings' way. Yeah.
And that play trip is a bus ride.
Yeah.
We've hit cruising altitude. Now we're coming down.
I'm all about plane rides like that.
What would be the worst plane ride you can imagine? Like what destination? Like Japan?
Like
that's
Australia.
A long. Yeah, Japan, Australia. That's a long ass flight.
Yeah. I have a friend who's really afraid of flying, and he went to Australia, and I can't imagine going that far.
Yeah. Or I'm trying to think, like, what would be the longest quasi-domestic flight where you don't get the pod, you don't get the thing where you can lay down.
Yeah.
So maybe like MSP to, I don't know, someplace in Panama. That'd probably be the worst.
Yeah, I don't know. I try not to spend too much time thinking about it, to be honest with you.
Thinking about what's coming up, what should people be looking for? What you got cooking?
Yeah, one of the things that I should have coming up probably around the beginning of like OTAs in a couple of weeks, doing a feature on quarterbacks coach Kevin Stefanski. So interesting thing about him, obviously, I think we're all pretty familiar with. He's moved around. He was assistant quarterbacks coach. He started that in 2009, so Brett Favre's first year. So that's really interesting. Talk to him about that, but I'm not going to give it away. And then he also coached tight ends and running backs, and this year going back to quarterbacks. So, and the interesting thing about him as well, look for this in the future, is that his dad is an NBA executive. Right now he's with the Memphis Grizzlies, and he's been with a couple other teams. So it's really interesting that they're both working in professional sports.
Also, he fired Dave Yeager.
I don't even know who Dave Yeager is.
Oh, he was a couple years ago. He was one of the finalists for the Wolves job, and then he was like, "Nah, No, he's using the Wolves as leverage to the extension with the Grizzlies.
Gotcha.
So that's why I hate him. Not hate. That's a strong word.
That is a strong word.
Yeah, that's why I dislike him.
Gotcha.
Although I always respect when people use leverage. Yeah, so that's all. Check that out, Lindsey, Vikings.com at Lindsey MN Sports. Are you ever going to change the handle?
I don't know. I kind of like to stick with things. I'm not a big fan of change. I feel like people get used to it.
But what if you go international? Like, what if NBCSN picks you up and they're like, Lindsey USA Sports?
I mean, it's Tuesday, and you're asking me some serious Saturday questions here. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like my Twitter handle.
Oh, speaking of also, and also I'm inviting you to my birthday party because what we're doing, the segue as well, Pedal Pub Twin Cities, it is going to be awesome because we're getting out. We got 2 of them, so we got 32 rowdy rabble-rousers, and Lindsey's going to be there. We're doing a little Sunday in downtown. I'm really excited. They got routes all over the Twin Cities, uptown, downtown St. Paul, Dinkytown, pretty much wherever.
I have a logistical question about this. Do you think my feet reach the pedals?
Well, you can do like me, and you can have the perch where you don't pedal.
Yes.
That's where we're going to
the non-drinking, non-pedaling perch.
Yeah.
Life of the party right here.
Yeah, Lindsey's not going to drink, except me and my other friends. We are going to imbibe. You can bring your own, and their drivers do all the driving, navigating. Stop into lots of great watering holes around the Twin Cities. And also, Sunday Fun Day. Highly recommend this. You get $90 off your order. Great deal. Birthdays, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties. Just getting together with some good friends. Because that's what we're doing. Do that up. Pedalpub.com. Pedalpub.com. That's smooth. Yeah. And also, you're coming. Like, that wasn't just fluff.
When is that?
I don't want to say because then people might hunt us down.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Sunday, June 25th.
Gotcha.
At 12:30.
Okay.
In downtown.
Okay.
It's going to be fun.
I'll write it down.
Yeah. Do that up. We're on here. If you enjoy the show, tell a friend, spread the word, add to the Jerome homie army, just like Lindsey Jerome Young.
Thanks for having me back on, Andy.
No, Jerome Young sounds like an NBA player.
Yeah, it does, actually.
Yeah. iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and all the social media. You know what to do. Thanks, producer Allie, for making me not sound so stupid today. But for Lindsey Young, I'm Andy Carlson saying, and Young, sayonara, and bye-bye. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to Bowl with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast. Download the show on iTunes. Everyone's middle name is Jerome.